This an all-out blitz. Real hard hits, them other podcast trash, we gon' make them all quit. We cover all the topics with intelligence and logic. I know you wanna score, but ID gon' stop it. We from Texas, so that mean that we Texans. Breaking down the X's and O's, our profession. No complaining, just training, you see the progression. They had a Pro Bowl for talk shows, we get selected. We gon' celebrate every win like a birthday. Ray J with the news, first with all the updates. Spin move on the competition, yeah, we juking them. You not really in touch if you not tuning in. This is Crenshaw, Briggs, and VT. We want the touchdown, we not trying to go for 3. And it's best if you get up out the street, cause them bulls out the pen and they bout to stampede.
Hey guys, we're going to celebrate this victory in a moment, but before we do, I got to give a shout out to our sponsor. Our sponsor is Tomorrow's Retro. This episode is sponsored by Tomorrow's Retro, made by diehard fans, giving you all the Texans gear, pride you deserve with the retro look. Tomorrow's superstars get the best looking merchandise for your Houston Texans. Use code TFB10 for 10% off store-wide at tomorrowsretro.myshopify.com. And with that said, I'm going to bring in Crenshaw. Crenshaw, how you feeling?
Feeling good, man. Feeling good. I guess they'd like for us to stress a little bit, but it's cool. I'm glad we win these close games. Very, especially against a playoff caliber team, a Super Bowl appearance team, a well put together team. So it was a good team win. Let's break this down, VT.
Yeah, so let's break it down. So the first thing is Stroud had, I think, a pretty damn good performance again. Yes, he had an interception, but he had a passing TD, he had a rushing TD, he had just about 60% completion rate, a 350-yard plus game. I think that we can't focus on the one mistake he did because he basically played well almost the entire game. I think we also have to give a big shout out to your boy Devin Singletary, who had 150 yards and 5 yards per carry. And my belief is that we would not have won this game without him. CJ Stroud, obviously, he's the quarterback. He deserves a lot of praise, but so does the running back. Devin Singletary, 30 carries, 150 yards, one touchdown and 5 yards per carry. Crenshaw, what do you think about the running game?
I'm just trying to figure out what's different today than it was the previous games. Like why we saw holes this game. I understand that the Bengals rush defense isn't as good, but neither was the Panthers, and we didn't see none of these holes right here. I know this is the first game this year that we was balanced on both sides, passing and running. I didn't see Devin Singletary getting 30 carries at all. I saw maybe like 20, 22 touches. That's what the passing and the carries, but 30 carries, but Devin Singletary, 5 yards a carry. That's amazing. Now, is this going to be a running back controversy, or you think this was a fluke by Devin Singletary?
I don't think it's a fluke. I think that he should be RB1. I think also they ran stuff that they don't normally run. People always complain that Laramie Tunsil can't run block, but he actually ran block quite a bit today. Both our bookends did. And so some of our largest runs were on the outside. So whether you call it left end or whether you call it stretch, the plays that were successful weren't just up the gut. Now, up the gut, you did have successful plays, 4 or 5 yards. But you had some of your longest runs, 22 yards, 13 yards on the left and right-hand side. So we also calling different running plays. I also think that Devin Singletary, he's more of a finesse back. He's not a power back. He has a better vision. Now, people will ask, well, why didn't he succeed in Carolina? In Carolina, one of the things is that.
You talking about just the running? I guess Carolina. Okay,
Go ahead. Well, why didn't he succeed when we played in Carolina? Because Carolina, like the Bengals, has a poor rush defense. Well, my answer there is if you look at the carries that he got, he didn't necessarily get what I call quality carries, right? He got a lot of carries where it wasn't just second down carries; it was always first down, right? So not always, but many times first down, which it's an obvious running down, right? And so now you had him basically taking all the carries, first, for a second, short yardage situations as well. So you had him take, in my opinion, quality carries. You had better run blocking. You had better play calling on the runs. And I think everything just worked together. 150 yards, man, I definitely did not believe that we would see 150. I thought that we would get maybe 75. Like I think that was my prediction, that we would have some running yards, like maybe 60, 70, 75. Nowhere in hell did I think it was going to be 150 yards.
Yeah, neither did I. I guess after the first couple plays, when he was going up the gut, getting 5 yards, 8 yards, 9 yards, I was like, oh, this might be a good day for him. But then I thought the defense was going to figure it out, but they didn't figure it out. Um, Shout out to Bobby on that right there, man. He called another great game. He's taking the lead by storm right now. I know other teams are seeing the success he's having with CJ, so those phone calls gonna be coming in really very very soon. So hey, that's good shit for us. Even though we don't want to hear it, but that's good shit for us. That means we're doing something right. Finally.
Right, right. And so let's talk about some of these actual receivers. Noah Brown, 8 targets, 7 catches, 172 yards, and 7 first downs. 172 yards? Bro, I was completely wrong on Noah Brown. I said that Xavier Hutchinson would take away his job, that he was in the NFL for 5 or 6 years. Shame on me. Shame on me. I was obviously completely wrong.
Shame.
Yes, seriously. I couldn't have been more wrong. So, I'll say this. I did not evaluate receivers properly. Like, listen, I was right about a few different things, but receivers, man, Nico Collins, he's balled out. Noah Brown, he's balled out. These are some things that, I just didn't see. So shout out to Noah Brown. But on top of Noah Brown, Dalton Schultz, who I thought was going to be a big deal in this offense, is proving to be that week in, week out. He did get a touchdown this week, but he had 6 targets, 4 catches, 71 yards, 3 first downs. And Tank Dell, this is something I do want to talk about. 14 targets, 6 catches, 56 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 first downs. Now, we are celebrating, but I do want to ask you this question. In the third quarter, we decided to, or actually it was in the fourth quarter, but we decided that we were going to pass, right? And in my opinion, there was, when you were on that drive, the drive before Joe Burrow went to the end zone and the receiver dropped, the drive before that, we threw to Tank Dell, who was being covered by Turner. Turner was basically blocking him all day. As you can see here, with 14 attempts. 14 attempts, that's a shit ton, with only 6 catches. What do you think about that? Because I think we should have ran, first of all. Secondly, I didn't like the play call, but more importantly, I didn't like the fact that CJ targeted him, knowing that Turner was on him, was a man coverage, and has been blocking him all day long when it was a very critical throw.
Now we're talking about the interception, right? The first one, correct?
No, I'm not even talking the interception.
Oh, the second one that went downfield, right?
I'm talking about the miss, because basically Turner. I'm not talking about the interception, because I actually don't mind that one.
Yeah,
although some people
talk about the second, third down. The second, third down. Right?
Yes. Okay. I'm talking about the second, third down that he threw to Tank, and Tank couldn't catch because Turner was right there.
Yeah, 2 guys on him. Well, yeah, I think 14 targets is a lot for Tank. I figured that they should have kept going to Noah Adams, because that's his name, Noah Adams. He's Devontae Adams' clone. Should kept going to him because he's a much bigger body. Pause. But I think they was being greedy again, just like they did on the interception. I think they should have ran it. I think they should have ran the ball and then just punt and give your defense a chance. But they was being greedy, and it's one of those damn if you do, damn if you don't. Because if you make the catch, we're praising it, But since he didn't make the catch, we like, damn, that was a bad play call right there.
Okay. So let's talk about what other things that happened. So we had 554 yards of offense. Obviously, 356 were passing by CJ. 188 yards on the ground. We had 7.4 yards per play. Now, the reason why I'm just running these stats off is comparison to the Bengals. The Bengals only had 380 yards of offense. They were at 6.3 yards per play. And the difference also was that we sacked them 4 times and we only got sacked once. Here's another thing that's really weird, right? We had 2 fumbles lost and an interception. So that's 3. That's a turnover battle, right? We had 3 takeaways. They got intercepted twice. So we actually lost a turnover battle. And we lost a turnover battle. But the thing is, after the first quarter, we were dominant. We had 28 first downs. They had 20. So we started stacking up after the first quarter. Crenshaw, do you think that we're kind of like a slow starting team where we purposely want to see what the defense gives us and start slow in the first quarter and then start building up once we know what's going on? What's your reasoning why we are slow at first and then start getting heavy? Because it's happened back-to-back weeks.
What you just said is right. That's a good observation right there. Yeah, we are. It's kind of like a boxer, like Ali. He just take those hits, slow. Get you tired, then he come back for the win. So they just trying to figure out the team, and when they figure it out, and then when CJ figures it out as well, then we punch him in the mouth. I'm very impressed. Another week with the run defense. I mean, we held them to 66 yards rushing. I mean, goddamn, last year, 180 yards getting ran on us. So I'm very happy about that. But I think it's exactly what you said. We're just a slow team. Hopefully next week we can come out faster. But I'll take this right here. Because we putting up the points, and the way the game was at halftime. What was the score? 13-7, right? At halftime.
I mean, honestly, I have to
I,
look.
th- I think it was 13, yeah, 13-7, and we ended up with 30 points, man. So, like you said, a second half team, because last week it was a low scoring half, and we ended up with 39 points. I think we had
Yeah, it
10
was
points.
10-7. It was
10-7,
10, it was
10-7,
10-7.
and we ended up with 30 points today, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then
30
and
to
then
27 is the
and
final
then
score.
and last week we had 10 at halftime. We ended up with 39 points. So that's just like you said, man. Slow team trying to figure it out, and I'm glad they're doing that right now.
Okay. So let's talk about the defense for a bit. We have a guy that we really didn't think he was going to do much. DeAndre Houston Carson, 7 tackles. All of them were solo tackles, 1 interception, and a pass deflection. Great job. Great pickup there. Did not see that happening. Thought that we were going to really struggle more in the secondary without having Nelson play all the snaps. But Carson really showed up. Best DB out there today was DeAndre Houston Carson. Sheldon Rankins, I've definitely given this dude a lot of shit, right? But he's had 3 sacks today. So, as much of the shit that I gave him, he showed up today. He sacked the hell out of Burrows at important times, too, to force those punts. So, great job by Sheldon Rankins. Jonathan Gennard had a sack. And then, we got to always give love to special teams here. And Matt Amendola, I was really worried about him
I
because,
was scared as shit. I ain't gonna cap.
yeah, right. Last year, he had 7 attempts to make field goals, and he only made 5. Today, he made all 3 of his field goals. One of the longest one was 45 yards. Cameron Johnston, the elite punter that we have, had a punt 4 times, and 2 times was within the 20 yards. So special teams showed up as well. Right now, I have to ask you, who does the game ball go to?
Oh man, that's a tough one, man. That's a tough one. I guess I got to give it to Sheldon Rankins because
Really?
because the way the defensive line was getting at Joe, they went like what I want to say 15, 16 minutes without getting the first down. They had 5 straight punts, and that was huge momentum for us because we took the lead right there. We could have got more points, but like you said, we had those costly turnovers in the red zone. I mean, we didn't get the turnovers in the red zone. This game wouldn't have been as close as it was. But I got to give it to Sheldon Rankins on that right there. But let me ask you a question since we're on the defense. On that
Okay.
on that first touchdown, I know we was in the cover too, but is that on Stingley? Is it on Petrie, or that was just a good pass by Joe?
I mean, all of the above. I mean, it was a good pass, and yes, they were in zone coverage. Now, some will say you can't put that on Stingley because they weren't in man, but I always say you have to be able to play zone. You can't say, oh, it was zone coverage, so you can't put it on them because zone coverage means you have to pass it off, right? You're passing it off to other DBs. You're not the only one responsible for that guy, and I get it. So should have Petrie been there? Sure, Petrie should have been there. But the whole point is that who was the closest DB to him? The closest DB at that time was Stingley, and he let that go. So are we playing a lot of zone? Yeah, I think we're playing potentially a little too much zone, and that's something I'll talk about in a moment. But I am not going to just let a DB off the hook because we're playing zone because that's That's what we play. We play cover 3. We play 80% zone. That's the defense. You have to be able to play zone. But my game ball goes to Devin Singletary. I think that without the run game, we don't win this game. It has to go to him because not only did he put 150 yards on the ground, not only did he have a touchdown, but he was getting first downs with this. These were really good quality runs that he was getting, not just 45 carries with 2 yards. I mean, these were quality, huge runs, and that means that they had to respect both the pass and the run. This is great. That's when you know that you can use play action, which is what we did. And this is what I want to see going forward. In the future, we cannot have a situation where we're one-dimensional because that's hard to win games. So I'm going to say my game ball goes to Devin Singletary.
So in other words, I think Dameon Pierce's ankle is going to magically be good against the Cardinals, right?
I mean, listen, I think he'll play. I just don't think he should gain like split carries. In my opinion, he should be a change of pace back, which is what we initially thought that Devin, or at least I thought that Devin Singletary was going to be. And so, yeah, be the change of pace back. Use him like you would have used Devin Singletary. Give him those 5 carries a game. If you want to give him those short yardage situations, fine. Although I would rather give it to Andrew Beck when he's healthy. At this point, I just don't see the reason to use Pierce unless you're just trying to force using him. Because what's the reason? He hasn't shown that he can be successful in this scheme.
And I think they're going to force use him once he comes back, but we'll see. We'll see.
So we have some people saying that the game ball should go to Slowick, and I can understand that. He called a great game. Some people are saying Noah Brown. That's definitely a good option as well. 172 yards, 7 first downs. I can agree with that
Noah
as well.
Adams.
Noah Adams. Why Noah Adams?
Because he's a Devontae Adams clone.
Okay. Some agree with the Devin Singletary. And yeah, this is what I like. One game, keep the pressure off the quarterback. I mean, that's what I actually love. And yes, everyone that's watching, please hit the like button. It helps us out. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed and share with a friend. Appreciate that. So I want to ask another question here. So about the playoffs, let's get into the playoff discussion, shall we?
Playoffs?
You know what? Just for the hell of it.
Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs?
Yeah, playoff discussion here. We had a great game, and we're obviously going to break it down even further in a few moments and next week. But I want to talk about playoffs because I think a lot of people are starting to realize that we not only can enter the playoffs, but we could actually win the division. We're not just talking about wild card. And I want to know what you think. So in this playoff discussion, we are currently rated as a top 8 team in the AFC by wins and losses right now. So we're outside of the top. We're up on the top 10. We're no longer a fringe team at this point. If we look at this schedule, the Texans played the Cardinals, the Jaguars, the Broncos, the Jets, the Titans, the Browns, Titans again, and the Colts. If we look at the Jags schedule are the Titans, the Texans, the Bengals, the Browns, the Ravens, the Bucks, the Panthers, and the Titans. And so here is my wild fucking prediction. We've got the momentum. There is a chance that we could potentially have 11 wins here.
Yeah!
And you might say, no, that's a hot shit.
Hot shit!
It's 11 wins, man. And the reason why is, if you think about it, I'm not saying any of these are easy games, but the Cardinals is a winnable game. The Jaguars, we can sweep them. The Broncos, it's a winnable game. The Jets, hard game. Titans, we can beat them. The Browns, hard game. Titans, we can sweep them. Colts, we can win that one. So I think it's possible that we can win 11 games. And I'm not saying that it's going to happen. I'm just saying, shit, it's fucking possible. And if you look at the Jaguars, like I said, they are playing the Titans, which I think they'll win. They'll play us, which I think we'll sweep them. But they got 3 games in a row: the Bengals, the Browns, and the Ravens. Those are 3 really tough games. The Bucks weren't easy either. So, but I'm saying, like, they potentially could end up with only 10 wins on the season, meaning they win 4 more games, but that's it. And yes, they'll win against the Panthers, they'll win against the Titans, but will they win against the Bengals, the Browns, the Ravens, or the Bucks? Tell me your thoughts. Am I crazy? Are we winning the division? Are we only in the wild card spot? Tell me if I'm fucked up or not.
Well, put it like this: you're not fucked up because before the season, I put down $100 bet that we'll win the division, even though we was predicted to win 1 or 2 games. So I'm trying to cash in on my investment right now.
All right.
I feel like we got 3 straight home games. We're good at home. We should win all 3 games. And before we go to the New York, we should be 8-4. And you don't sound crazy at all. I think we do win 11 games and have a home playoff game here in the H Town. Um, like that would be something that, even though some people are going to say, "Oh man, I seen this," no one saw this shit coming. No one. We was happy with 6 wins, but 11 wins. That's fucking phenomenal right there. So I think it's possible, bro. You own something right there because the Jazz do have a tough schedule, and I don't believe in the Colts, even though they're right behind us at 5-5. But I don't believe in the Colts going to make any noise.
No, I agree. I do not feel like the Colts are a threat. Minshew, I do think he's a good quarterback, but he's not good enough. He makes really, really risky throws. And the way that you win with Minshew is that you do have to have a defense that can keep up, and meaning that he's going to turn over the ball. So you're going to have to win the turnover battle on the defensive side. And I don't think that the Colts defense is actually built for that right now. The Titans, I really don't see them winning too many games. I think they get swept by the Jags and by the Texans. I know we have a mutual friend that's very high on the Titans, and he does believe that we will only split. But I don't see the Titans actually being a threat at all. Will Levis had a pretty bad game today. This is the second game in a row where he did not throw a touchdown, but threw an interception instead. The first game he threw 4 touchdowns, and I said it could be a fluke. And I'm not saying I was told you so, but I'm kind of saying I told you so. I mean, obviously, still early, but he hasn't been able to be clutch. Now, one of the reasons why he was able to be so successful against the Falcons was that they were able to run the ball and use play action. And when you run the ball that heavy, you can use play action, and then you have the lead. You really couldn't do anything. The Falcons, what were they going to do? They had no game plan. But you saw the Steelers, who have a strong defense, and you saw today that anytime you can't run the ball effectively because you have a good rush defense, he's screwed. He can't do anything. And so I am not worried about the Titans. The Colts, not worried at all because AR is done for the season, unfortunately. Like I don't like to prey on other people's injuries, even if they're division rivals, but he's done for the season. I don't think Minshew's really going to take him that far. The Jags are really obviously our biggest threat, and they got walloped today. They got walloped. So yeah, I mean, tell me what you think about the Jags. Do you think the Jags are frauds? Because I'm thinking that the Jags are not just frauds, man, but I think they are little kitties. Little kitties, man. I think that, everyone said, be afraid of the Jags. They're Super Bowl contenders. But look what happens when they played against a good team. They got destroyed. Tell me what you think about the Jags.
I don't think the Jags are frauds. I think Trevor Lawrence is a fraud.
Okay.
That's what I think. They're a good coach team. They play good on defense as well, but their quarterback is really not what the league make him out to be. To me, he's an okay quarterback, but they had him top 10 once the new league year started out. I still think it's the Texans division to lose, even though they got us by a game right now. So, Sam, we coming for you.
All right. So I agree with this. Now, going back to, well, actually, we're staying in the playoff discussion, but now we're talking about dudes potentially getting healthy. Stingley is back out there. Obviously, he didn't have necessarily his best performance, but he is back out there. And Nelson should be back next week fully. He didn't play all his snaps, but he should be back fully. We're talking that we should start having Scruggs should be back by the Jaguars game. So potentially our run game could get even better. We experienced a lot of injuries here, but we're starting to see that may have been in our favor because we had to learn a lot of stuff with this rookie team. And now that we're going through a stretch here through the playoffs, we may end up being one of the more healthier teams at the end of the season, whereas teams usually get injured at the end of the season. We may be one of the more healthy teams as everyone now is starting to get healthy again. What do you think about the injury issue that we have right now as a Texans fan?
Yeah, that'd be good because we've been, hit with the injury bug since week one, and it's been frustrating. But we still made a way to, keep the shit together, especially with the offensive line. But I would love to see Juice out there, man, because second round pick, and we haven't seen him play one snap yet, so that would be good down the stretch for the run game. Now Patterson, he's going to be out for the season, or he's coming back.
Well, the thing is, they said that he could come back in 8 weeks at that time, but 8 weeks is basically in the postseason if he comes back. And at that point, what would he play? Would he play left guard potentially so Titus can go back to right tackle? Because he's not going to play center.
Well, that would be ideal. If Titus could go back to right tackle because they haven't officially put Patterson on IR, correct? Is he on IR?
Honestly, I have to look. I'm not even positive, but I believe they did put him on IR.
They did.
But the thing is that what he actually did is he hurt the bone above his ankle. He didn't break his ankle, but it was above his ankle, and so it's a 6 to 8 week injury, right? Now, could he come back? Yeah, but you're talking about like the second to last game at the most, or the postseason. So we're not. So it's most likely that I think that we probably won't use him. Unless someone else gets injured, like if we have another injury, then we'll put him in. But I don't see him starting and taking anyone out at this point. Believe it or not, Titus did a good job today. Like, seriously. Like, Titus did a decent job today left tackle. Now, I'm not saying he did great, but, I mean.
Finally.
Yeah, I mean, someone lit a fire up his ass. Maybe it was a tweet, I don't know, but because he'd been responding to people left and right. But he played well today. Honestly, overall, listen, this is a decent D-line that we're going up against. You had Hendrickson and stuff like that. And, yeah, we gave up a sack. And, yeah, CJ was under pressure quite a bit. But overall, the O-line did their job from a pass protection standpoint. They did their job from a run blocking standpoint. Like I said, they weren't fantastic. It's not like we are grade A over here, but acceptable. And if we can just get a little better and better and better, man, we go to Arizona next week, right? And
I mean, they come to us.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's a home game. So Arizona comes to Houston next week. So if we continue to run the ball, the big thing that we have to worry about is Kyler Murray. If you've been watching Red Zone after our game, he's been throwing some nice balls up there. Pause. But yeah, I'll give a pause to myself over here.
Pause. God damn, Boosie.
But basically, he's been throwing up some nice balls, man. And so we're going to have to worry about it from a secondary perspective because one of the things that you saw that we struggled with is when Burrow scrambled, we weren't able to stop it. He was able to go right ahead and get that first down. And so that is something that Kyler Murray is going to do 5 times a game. And so that is something that we're going to have to work on. And I think that we did a good job, but we are still missing too many tackles. Peachy, who tried to make a big play, missed a tackle. Let that conversion happen. That was a big deal. Perryman, he had a great game today, but he also missed some tackles. Now, did he have a great game? He did. But again, you missed some tackles. So we have some cleaning up to do there because go ahead.
He was great in coverage.
I mean, he missed some in coverage, right? But then he also helped stop the run.
Well, that's what he's good at, stopping the run. Yeah.
Right. So the thing is, you make a big play against the run, you screw up in coverage. I mean, no one's going to be perfect. Especially, he's also been a little injured too. So, I don't know. I mean, obviously he's been impactful. The real question is, how do you win games against even better teams like the Jets and the Browns, particularly? So the Jets don't have much of an offense, but they do have but they do still have a run game, and they could run all over us. Now, obviously, the quarterback is poop, like complete and utter shit, but they have a run game, so we'll have to stop the run. They have a great defense, which means that we will be in a situation we probably have to punt 3 or 4 times in the game, right? And so that means that if we punt too much and they have a strong run game, they could put points on the board. So that is something we have to consider. The Browns, they have Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett is an offense, even though he's on the defense. He has been responsible when he played the Colts to put up 17 points alone. At the final part of the game, when I switched over to red zone, they ran in a TD. It was a pick six, and then they scored the last kick. Right. So the thing is that their defense and their special teams is carrying this poor offense that they have. So even though the Jets and the Browns have bad offenses, their defenses are going to be an issue. And like with Arizona, you have Kyler Murray coming back who can run all over the place. So we still have some challenges even in those games. And that's why I said, like, we're obviously not winning every single game, or maybe we will. I shouldn't say obviously. But we're going to have those losses. The Jets and the Browns are the ones that I'm the most concerned about. Do you think there's another game in here? And I'll put it up so you can look at it as well, that we should be concerned about besides the Jets and the Browns?
We still, even though we say they frauds and everything, we still got to say the Jaguars because of every division game is hard and everything, and
You're right.
and we beat them earlier at home, so I'll have to say the Jaguars is going.
No, we beat them on the road.
Yeah, I'm talking about them at their house. We beat them at their house.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah. We beat them at home like that. So I got to say the Jaguars and everything. But let me ask you a question about earlier in the game on that first fumble. Is that on Dieter or was that on CJ?
So it looked like he reached out incorrectly on CJ's part. However, I think the timing was off, and that's why I can't blame CJ, even though he looked a little early. The timing was off. I have to blame Dieter on that one. Stroud has not made a single mistake in that aspect this whole season. So I have to really put it on Dieter. Although I can understand why people, again, we'll know this when we look at the All-22, because right now when you look at the broadcast, you can only see it for a split second and then a quick replay. But when we look at the All-22, we'll be able to determine it. But I'm going to put that on Dieter right now. And frankly, the fact is that he's our fourth center, and he didn't play offense at all last year. The fact that he's playing at this level is already mind-blowing. So I can't really blame him too much. He's had one penalty last game, and he fucked up a snap this game. That's to be expected because I expected a lot worse.
Yeah, and this was Texans of old. That play would have cost us, but you got CJ is like, okay, he'll get it back. Now on that second fumble, was his hand going forward or they made the right call?
It was a forward pass. There was no way that should have been a fumble. It was easy and plain to see. Like, I don't know, you got two eyes. Like, how do you not see that it's a forward pass? That was a dumb call. I actually tweeted out to NFL officiating saying that was a dumbass call. That definitely should have gone the other way. So we got screwed on that one.
And what about the Robert Woods touchdown? Did he go out of bounds? Was that another dumbass call? That was a great call.
So they said it was illegal contact, right? Because they said that it wasn't tipped. Now, did you see that it was tipped or not? Because I thought that it was tipped.
I didn't see a tip at all. Paul.
So,
tip.
so if it wasn't tipped, then it was the right call in all reality because he did go out of bounds. It was slight though. My opinion though is even though we see it from one angle, you're supposed to be able to see it from 3 different angles to call it. I don't think it was enough to reverse the call. So even if you stepped out of bounds in one view, you need like multiple views to overturn it. And I don't think that's a call that they should have made, simply because there wasn't enough views. So you could say we had 2 bad calls. But that one I'm not necessarily as pissed about because it's somewhat subjective. But the fumble, that wasn't on CJ at all. That was a forward pass that should have been incomplete. That really just stupid. I also want to say that one of the things that we had that I don't like is that we got an interception, and one of them we didn't even do anything with it. That has to stop. Anytime we get an interception, we have to put at least 3 points on the board. We've done that before, right? And we have to stop taking away the ball and doing nothing with it. That has to be something that they drill down on, figuring out some easy calls during that play, because You can't do the disservice to the defense of getting you the ball back and you not giving them anything in return. That's just disrespectful. They have to figure some play calls after a turnover that some like you're not trying to play hero ball and play some consistent football in order to put at least 3 points on the board at that point, because otherwise it's a waste. And that is something I think does have to get corrected.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, but I mean, you're not going to score on every turnover, but I agree with you said. Or if not going to put three on the board, drive the ball down the field, and you're going to punt it, getting inside the 5 or something like that, make them come 95 yards down the field. So I, I do what agree with you on that right there.
All right. Um, so a couple more things to talk about. Xavier Hutchinson got a target in the receiving game, but he dropped it. Now the ball got punched out, right? It wasn't just a simple drop, but he was in the receiving game for basically just one target. Mechie had two targets. He caught both of them for 25 yards. Robert Woods only had three targets, and he only had one catch. Now one of them was the touchdown pass that's debatable, but he was only targeted three times. Do you think he's getting phased out of this offense?
I mean, well, he just got back, so still easing his way back in. And Noah Adams has been on the tear the last couple of weeks, so you know you got to give him the ball as much. Now, on Mechi, I said his damn last name. Has he dropped any passes this year that's been thrown his way?
I think it was one, honestly.
Okay, but yeah, I don't think Robert Woods is getting faded out. I mean, he's still a big part of our offense, especially on the blocking end and everything. I have to see the next two games to see how his target rates go, especially once Nico Collins come back. Then I can say, well, maybe he is getting faded out, and they let Noah Adams get his targets and everything.
Okay, all right, it's fair enough. He did have one first down as well, so obviously that's it. When you're getting a first down, not just a catch, it's obviously important. So I had the question because I feel like he may not even be on the team next year, even though the contract was signed. I have a feeling that we will upgrade that position, and we will slowly see him fade out. But we'll see if that happens.
Oh, well, we
Um,
definitely need to upgrade that position, though. Yeah, that's for sure.
what do you think of what Brian is saying? He's saying CJ needs to be in conversations for MVP. What do you think?
Well, at first, it was chatter about it. I wasn't on board with it, but now since we officially are the seventh seed in the AFC, we're in the playoffs. Yes, he should be in consideration. What he's doing this season is phenomenal. Right now, he's leading the league in passing. That could change by Tuesday, but right now he's leading the league in passing. 15 touchdowns, two interceptions, another a game winning drive for the win. Yes, he should be in MVP conversations, and D'Amico should be in Coach of the Year conversation right behind Dan Campbell.
Okay. So let me just talk about our friends that are sponsors real quick. At one more time here. So we really want to appreciate what they do. They make some really really cool shirts. So I really would like everyone, if you can, to check them out. They are tomorrow's retro. They're made by diehard fans, giving you all the Texans gear. Um, and really, what the real cool thing is, now we actually have something to be proud of, right? We really didn't have the pride before being a Texans fan. A lot of people stop watching games. When they say they have the best Texans gear for the pride you deserve, they mean it. They've got a great retro look. They are putting stars on it like Will Anderson, CJ Stroud. They have this awesome t shirt you see on the right that says franchise, using the seven as an eye. It's pretty cool. You can get the best looking merch for your Houston Texans. Use code TFB10 for 10% off store wide at tomorrowsretro.myshopify.com. And let's bring Crenshaw back in here. And Crenshaw, what would you want to say to other people? What any last words? Any other questions or conversations?
Yes, my last words. You motherfuckers need to show up Sunday at the game. CJ has been saying it for weeks. He need the crowd to be more packed. You guys, try to get drunk but get in at least by 12:01. Sit down and let's rock that bitch out. You guys getting in the stadium. You know, 5 minutes left in the first quarter, and there still be a lot of empty seats, man. So buy the tickets, come to the game, and let them guys know that you appreciate, what they're doing right now. We went through the struggle. Now we're about that bitch. So let's go.
I agree. I gotta ask for the anyone that's local there and that's not going to games right now. I gotta ask. I gotta ask if you're there locally and you're not going to games. What the fuck is the reason? Listen, I was there last year. I live in Florida, so I'm not local. But when I can get there, I get there, and I definitely will go to more games next year. I just didn't have a chance this year for a couple different issues. But if you're local, you got to get there, man. CJ, during press conferences today, specifically, as Crenshaw said, we need to see a sold-out stadium. So this guy is your franchise quarterback. He's winning you games you never thought you were going to win. Do him a favor, buy tickets, and go see CJ Stroud. All right. Crenshaw, where can we find your stuff at?
Well, my stuff is in my pants, but you can't find that. But you find me at Fifth Ward, Crenshaw everywhere. I'm all over. Hit me up. I like to talk shit.
Sounds great. Guys, you can find me at Brown Chubby Bear. I'm all over as well. But I do either host or co-host a space about the Texans a couple times a week. You can find me on Facebook too. I love talking about the Texans. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't yet. A lot of people... Go ahead, Crenshaw.
I would say, hey, and one more thing. If you guys in the H and you need a motherfucking haircut, this guy right here, Jamal, he would got you. Look him up. His name, he got you. All right, that's all I got.
Cool. So, guys, remember to subscribe because we do have great guests. This Wednesday, we actually have John McClain. John McClain, the Houston Texans legend, will be on the show. We have great guests all this month and even on December 6th. So if you guys recall, we had Eric Fromm on the show. He rated the Texans draft a D. And so we had him on the show to debate and say why we think he was wrong. Well, we scheduled another show with him because we said we want to wait until the season is basically over and where we can make a determination on whether or not the draft was good or bad. His biggest issue was a trade-up. He didn't think that Will Anderson was worth it, and he thought that we would be picking in the top 5, or if we had our pick, that we'd be picking in the top 5. Motherfucker, we're about to go to the playoffs. So
I know. I didn't like that motherfucker, man.
But listen, he's a nice guy. I just disagreed with him. And so subscribe because Eric Fromm will be here on December 6th. We have Jake Aswin coming up as well. And then we also have Sean Pendergast. If you listen to Sports Radio 610, you know him. So like, subscribe, share this. We have 4 great guests coming up. Guys, excellent win. Fuck Cincinnati. We got it. Go Texans.
Who that?
This is Crenshaw, Briggs, and VT. This is Crenshaw, Briggs, and VT. We want the touchdown. We not trying to go for 3. And it's best if you get up out the street, cause them bulls out the pen and they about to stampede.